y'all for tuning into the Stay Fligh podcast. I'm your host, Baby J, and today we've got two special guests. We have Tristan and David here joining us from Bud Barn down on the coast, two seasoned veterans in the industry, but I'll let them do their own introduction here.
How you doing? My name's David. I've been in the cannabis industry now for about 15 years, and thankfully now in the Biloxi area at the Bud Barn Dispensary. Our goal is to educate and to let patients know about cannabis here in Mississippi, and it's really exciting to be a part of the Southern Crop family here today. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Tristan. I'm a bud tender here at Bud Barn. Got started in medical cannabis here recently. Actually came from a medical background, had an unfortunate experience that led me here, and now I'm blessed to be able to teach people and bring people into cannabis in a safe and efficient way to help mitigate problems. We're here to educate, guys. Look forward to seeing all of you.
Well, I appreciate y'all both coming on. I think obviously we wanted to have some people not only just in the medical industry in Mississippi, but also someone like yourself, David, who has experience in a couple different markets, and bringing your expertise down from California and New York and other markets. You know, what are the things that you're seeing here in Mississippi that have been kind of maybe taking you back to the early days, or things that have been different so far that have been, pleasant?
Yeah. So I would say back in 2006 or so is when I actually started out in Seattle cannabis market, doing some dispensaries and grows there, and then going into California and New York and back to California and now here in Mississippi. And one of the most surprising things that I've actually found is how far along we have came in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
For example, in the New York market, to get to this point in the medical cannabis world, it took us just over 2 years to have the concentrates, the flower, to have all the right products that we actually are having here. That took, under a year to have in Mississippi. It took over 2 years in New York. So it's been a really fast moving market here, and it's really exciting to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think that's actually something that we've had a lot of internal conversations and external conversations. Is like, I was shocked. Like, as someone I've never lived in a market, but I've visited markets. I've lived in the underground in terms of being in the black market and purchasing cannabis illegally. I walked into a dispensary day one of living here and got my card and everything, and I was like, all right, we'll see how it is. It's not California, it's not Colorado.
Right?
Exactly.
Then you walk in, you're like, okay, you get it, take it home, and you smoke it. You're like, dang, this is grown in Mississippi. This is pretty good. But what's the reason you think that is? Do you think it's just the education behind it that's been really prevalent here in the state, or do you think?
Absolutely, the education and looking at other states. So
Yeah.
looking at, past experiences, there's, it's been medically legalized since 1996 in California. They've had plenty of time to see how taxpayers are paying for cannabis, how states are, using it, and how it's, actually helping out each state. So I think Mississippi was actually on the foreground of being able to use research from states like Colorado, California, Washington,
For sure.
that have had plenty of years of experience and try to get us the right program at a more rapid rate than we've had at most states, which for us here is an amazing thing.
Yeah, no, it is. And I know that one of the biggest things that y'all practice at Bud Barn is customer education or patient education. And I know that goes hand in hand with the program. That's how we expand the program. Is a lot of it is going to be through word of mouth and educating your current patients to educate other patients, and hopefully bring more people in the program to know that this is a very viable use of medicine.
Absolutely.
So what are some things that y'all are doing to maybe expand that program at Bud Barn?
A huge thing is, what's the difference between, like you said, going black market, going to the gas stations, or going to your medical dispensary? And those are the things that, we like to educate patients and non-patients about, as far as what you can find at these, gas stations that claim they're having, let's say cannabis CBD products that have benefits to them. or if there's, the black market where you really don't know what you're getting, what are the terpenes. So for us, and from my experience, the most important thing has actually been education about terpenes. So for us, it's all about test results. Once you have that right test result, then we're able to prove what is actually in each plant and how it can benefit your body and mental state of mind and what it can do for you on a medical level. So for us, it's not about the high THC. When people come in and they say, what is the highest THC thing you have? Of course, we're going to give them that answer, but we much rather them spend half the price to get something with a higher terpene and give them the benefit that they're actually looking for. So for us, having educational programs once a month, we do programs where people can sign up and you come in and it's question and answer, and just letting people know that they can spend an hour, 2 hours with us and get the right information. That's what it's going to be all about.
So y'all spend up to 2 hours sometimes with patients on
Absolutely.
site at Bud Barn in Biloxi.
For sure.
100%.
I don't know of very many other dispensaries that do stuff
I
like
had
that.
this guy come in a couple of weeks ago. It was a little guy. He was about 85 years old. And this dude was so timid walking in. Just like, you could tell he's in the,
Yeah, probably
not
a new,
like a sore
new,
throat, man.
new user,
And
definitely.
once he starts talking to me, he's like, man, I'm so out of place right now. Do you know how many thousands of people I put in jail for what I'm about to do? I was like, you have my interest. He was like, dude, I am a retired Supreme Court justice. I thought about it for a minute, like, all right, man, so what's going on? What can I help you with today? And after about 2 hours, man, we sit down. I went over some terpenes with him, some of the stuff that I used whenever I was going through treatments, and he came back a couple days later, just, thank you. And he wanted to be treated like a person, man. He wanted to be treated like somebody who was smarter than your average cat. He was tired of the pills that weren't working for him. So we took that time, and it paid off in a big way. I love to see that look on their faces.
Again, like I said, I don't see a lot of dispensaries doing stuff like that. I think that's a testament to what y'all are preaching and what y'all are practicing. And I know patient education is first and foremost the most important thing here right now in the state of Mississippi.
For sure.
And understanding, the path of the patient it's not just hey, here's some cannabis.
It's
done.
not one fixes all, man.
No.
Not by a long shot.
And Tristan, you've probably had a pretty unique experience in your path, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, so once upon a time as a young man, I was in college, and a couple of months in, started noticing some stuff happening. Everybody experiments in college. I tried some things and thought I was having some adverse side effects. My skin started falling off and started just weird stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
And one night I just ended up in the ER and found out I had cancer at 18 years old. So, years of chemotherapy and radiation, and this failed and that failed, and the barrage of drugs that are just thrown at you, just willy-nilly. The pen was smoking. He was writing prescriptions so fast. But after a couple of bone marrow transplants, and to one point I was taking more than 150 pills a day, every single day for months, and it came to a head. I was dying. I was dying from pharmaceuticals, and it stopped. I turned my life over to cannabis. I entered into a terpene study on cancer patients at the time through an independent lab, and it changed my life. I have a quality of life now that was previously unachievable by a long shot, and now I can pass that knowledge on. It helps, man. It does.
Being a part of those terpene studies, what were some of the big takeaways that you had? Because I know that there are specific cancer fighting terpenes that people talk about.
As far as pain management, it's unmatchable. So,
what terpene specifically?
So for me in specific, limonene and transcaryophyllene, that was the huge one I saw. They're actually anti-cancer fighting agents in a couple, and limonene being one of those. But like the nausea, I took 3 pills at one time to fight nausea for a month. That cost over $800. I started using medical cannabis, specifically strong and limonene, and I eat 1 edible a day. That costs maybe $5.
Wow.
You see what I mean? I started putting dollars to donuts. I was like, look, man, it's all about cannabis. Once I started seeing, all right, this myrcene is really helping me sleep at night. I'm really gaining an appetite. I'm sleeping 5 to 8 hours versus 30 minutes and puking my guts up all night from all these pills.
Yeah.
I was able to spend time with my wife. I was able to go out in public. I was able to actually live a life and work a job while getting treatment. my doctors were astonished. But whenever I told my doctor, look, man, I'm going to start using cannabis, he said, I can't tell you not to do that.
Yeah.
It's common sense.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's the way
mean?
it should be.
He was
Yeah.
totally for it.
Exactly.
And he steered me in the right directions. And once I got on that trail, I never looked back. There was not a doubt in my mind I was on the right path.
So how did you get hooked up with Bud Barn? You walked in the door one day and
As
said,
a
"Hey,
patient,
Dave."
man. As a patient.
The
So-
exact perfect way he should have gotten hooked up with Bud Barn, actually.
yeah, man. I grew up in the red state, so I actually came here as a medical cannabis refugee. My son graduated high school in May. My wife and I, we're to the age we can kind of do what we want. She works hard, so we gave up great jobs in the automotive industry so I could do what I was passionate about. I told her 20 years ago when we married, one day, this is what I'm going to do. And she was like, you know what? It's prime time for us to do that. So I came in as a patient, and I really hit it off with David. He gave me the respect I felt a patient deserves, and I've had less than stellar experiences elsewhere, and I was gravitated toward that place. The atmosphere, the community, the camaraderie. I mean, it's never even about the cannabis, really. It's you hang out, you have a conversation. What's on your mind today? Well,
That
what you got? What
community.
you got going on in your life, dude? How's your dog doing? I didn't see you with your dog this time. It's the little things like that. Our patients are important to us. We want them to feel that. We want them to come back and experience that time after time.